Hey everyone, guess what John just beat, sort of, like, in the last few days?
The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask!
You finally got around to playing it, didn't you, John?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Didn't we already do this?
Sort of.
When we did the Zelda retrospective, we kind of went over it, and we kind of skimmed over it, besides mentioning the obvious Ben Drown creepypasta and stuff like that. But I didn't say much about it because
He never played it.
like I mentioned, the first time I really got to play Majora's Mask was when I borrowed the Zelda collection on the GameCube from my uncle. I played it, and I only put about an hour into it because I didn't like the whole time travel gimmick at first, and I didn't really give much of the game a chance because I thought the intro was so slow.
That's the problem with the Zelda series in general lately.
Yeah. But you see, another thing was so it's 2003, I was about 16 when I was first playing the game. I didn't have a strategy guide. I didn't really use the internet for, looking up things on the internet. So, as far as I was aware, I had no idea how to get back from, the Deku Scrub to Link's form. I had no idea I had to wait until midnight on the third night in order to get to the Skull Kid. And before that, I had no idea about the Bomber side quest, stuff like that. I was pretty much stuck on the town world. Just wandering around aimlessly talking to all the townspeople.
Yeah, that was what happened to me when I Zelda Majora's Mask. I got that when I was a kid, so that was my first exposure to Zelda. That opening town section frustrated the shit out of me, especially because if you run out of time and lose it, you not only have to start all the way from the beginning, but you have to go through the tutorial stuff with Link in the Deku Scrub before you even get back to the town when the countdown starts again. So it's just like that opening sequence just made me hate the game with a burning passion.
Another thing that, and this is entirely my fault at this point, is that I wasn't doing enough research into the game. Like, when I heard that you travel back in time, you lose items, I assumed, besides the side quests being reset, that you lose everything you've got in that cycle.
No, you only lose, arrows and stuff.
Yeah, arrows, bombs, rupees, all that stuff. That I assumed you lost everything, because, you're time traveling back to the point where you started.
Yeah.
You would have to get all those items again.
So you thought you had to go through all the dungeons in a 3 days?
Yes.
No, you don't have to.
But in a sense, that just kind of doesn't make sense. Oh, my bow is time travel proof, but my arrows aren't.
Game logic.
Yeah, game logic. I never really got why you're able to keep your mask and key items with you when you time travel, but I'm not complaining.
It's game logic at that point. You just have to kind of accept that.
Yes.
Well,
and another thing. Go ahead, Ted.
It's game logic, but how can you have a bank account with money in it before you even come to the town?
Well, you're committing fraud at that point.
That's just a convenience thing they threw in there.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I appreciate the creepy bank guy, but it doesn't make any sense.
No, it makes no sense. That's just
game logic again.
Game logic and convenience.
There are a lot of points in this game where they expect you to abuse the Groundhog Day loop.
That's the whole point of the game, is abuse it.
Well, I'm talking more about extortion and getting money. I remember this one area in Clock Town that is pretty much like the lottery of some sort, where you can figure out the winning numbers of that night, and it'll always be the same. So it's just a matter of you traveling back in time and giving them the winning numbers for some free money.
Yep.
But at that point, there are already so many other ways you can get a lot of. It's really easy to get rupees in this game.
Yeah.
Isn't there a chest with 200 rupees in it?
There's two chests.
Yeah, there's two chests in Clock Towns that are really easy to get to.
Yes.
That's the first thing. Those are basically there.
That's the first thing I do.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. They're there for that purpose.
Well, I think that would make sense if they sort of kept with the you lose all your money, and if you just lost all of your money, I think it would make more sense if they made those chests easily accessible, so you have something to go off of every time you reset. Yeah. But, whatever.
Another thing was, when I was first getting into the game, the whole 3-day cycle, like I mentioned earlier, put a lot of pressure on me. I figured...
Play the Song of Time backwards.
That's what I was getting at. I had no idea that playing the Song of Time backwards would slow down time tremendously. I had no idea of that song's existence when I first played the game. I figured, you have this allotted time to do what you need to do, and then hopefully everything works out for the better with you when you travel back in time.
The time, it's like 1 minute is 1 hour, so you've got a little bit over an hour to do everything if you don't use the Song of Time backwards. Is that how it goes?
It's a bit more. No, it's a bit longer than that. It's not quite that quick.
I thought it was...
I think it's you'd look it up. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I think it is 1 minute is equivalent to 1 hour in Majora's Mask, assuming you're not playing the Song of Time backwards.
Okay. I may be thinking of a different game.
The Song of Inverted Time unloaded a lot of stress for me when I found out that song's existence. And once I was able to get past, one of the things that me and Matt were discussing, because after we finished the first Zelda Let's Play for the channel, we were bickering about what game we should do next, and I said, we're doing the game in the order of the release. We're doing Zelda 2 next. He's not looking forward to that. Neither am I.
Fuck Zelda 2.
We need to get that in order to get to Link to the Past, which is my favorite game. So we started talking about the 3D games, and Matt said he's pretty much... I'm letting Matt handle Ocarina of Time, because he knows that game up and left.
Me too.
When it comes to Ocarina of Time, he is the man I go to for everything in terms of that game. Same goes with Majora's Mask. But I told him that, okay, now if we're going to do Majora's Mask...
You want to actually play it.
I want to actually experience the game, because I don't want to sit down and be the person who questions every goddamn thing he sees. So let's think. All right, I want to pick up Majora's Mask again. So for like the last 4 weeks, he's been coming to my house. We got the pizza, loaded up the N64 for the first day, and then went back to the Virtual Console after the game froze on me. And I'm pretty much playing the game. He's backseating the entire time, telling me, giving me hits and tips and all that stuff. And then after we got to about the Great Bay Temple area, we weren't in the middle of the temple yet. I asked him, look, can you leave me that guide that you had, the Ultimania guide, I think it was? The Versus guide, actually. Can you just leave that with me, and I'll start playing the game on the N64 again, because I cannot play Zelda on the Virtual Console.
The frame rate is shit.
No, actually, I think the visual quality and frame rate is actually pretty good. It's just that, control-wise, it's incredibly awkward.
I actually never had a problem with the control.
What controller
are you using?
Alright, well, I was using the GameCube controller first.
I was about to say, use the GameCube, because that's probably the best one.
Yeah, it's like, when I was playing Ocarina of Time, which
you can just map it as Wind Waker, yeah.
Yeah, I used the GameCube controller, and it controlled good enough.
It controls good enough for me, but in Majora's Mask, you're using the Ocarina a lot. And
I actually almost find that better, because you have the C stick.
No, I'm much more comfortable playing songs in the Ocarina with the N64 controller, because they're actual buttons and you're not tilting a stick.
I don't have a problem either way.
To me, I found having items mapped on the C buttons using the game controller to be a bit overly sensitive, because my first experience with the first temple boss, Odawa...
I can't remember their names very well, but yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was Odawa.
That's the creepy, puppety looking guy, right?
Yeah.
I got that far. I kind of gave up after the first temple.
The thing is, though, like, there are many times where, I'm locked on with him, that's working just fine now, and I'm trying to aim my bow and arrow with him with the C-stick, but my finger was, a bit fidgety at that point, so there are times where I accidentally, switching between the ocarina and the bow and arrow, or this mask I have on the right stick, and I can't help that. Because I always found it just a bit too slippery in that regard.
Well, when you've got the stick, it's reading a halfway motion as a button press, so it's too precise.
It's sensitive. It's very sensitive.
Well, I mostly use XYZ on the GameCube controller more often than not.
Yeah, very true. It doesn't really help with Ocarina songs, though.
Not Ocarina songs, I'm more talking about item usage.
Yes, I agree.
For Ocarina songs, I use a C-stick, but in terms of, I have my bow and arrow on, C left, that's Y. Or whatever. You pick that up pretty quickly.
Yeah. But after a while, I wanted to play the game on the console when we released it. I wanted to get it as natural as I can get. So, I cleaned out the N64, and I cleaned the hell out of the Majora's Mask cartridge to make sure it doesn't freeze, even though Majora's Mask does have that occasional problem of freezing every once in a while.
Make sure the expansion pack was in.
Oh yeah, the expansion pack was in. Everything was cleaned out. I didn't have any problems, but goddamn it, I was paranoid because My N64 has that issue of like if I like just tap it just slightly, the game will freeze.
Well, at least yours works.
Yeah,
Mine dies.
At least you didn't meet with a terrible fate.
yeah. But that's the thing though. There's one thing I wish Majora's Mask was a bit more lenient on was saving.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah,
can't
having
save
to use the save points, bleh.